It's February 6, 2023. I'm starting this week off at Mariners Elementary, subbing 3rd grade, and I'm here for the 3rd time. I'm showing up with all the other teachers, apparently. I'm inside here, room 21. Behind me is room 22, and I subbed in that room for 6th grade last December 12th, I believe. And as I was putting my stuff down, I took a little glance at the math. It looks like I get to do fractions and looks like area or perimeter or something today. Well, so far so great. It's lunchtime, and it's kind of been quite a ride. This morning, a couple of the students from next door remembered me from December 12th, and they were saying hi, and I overheard one of them whisper or tell another student in this class that, oh, he's the best sub or something like that. So I'm thankful that they remembered me and that they thought that was a good sub. And the morning went good. I got to teach a math lesson after recess. It was about fractions and such, so that was quite fun and interesting. They really got fractions very well, like which one's greater, numerator, denominator, all that stuff. I will say this, they did earn incentives a couple of times, so they liked the rope trick, but the envelope numbers trick where they written 3-digit numbers and then someone added them together and it was in the envelope, that was the one they just almost screamed at. They could not understand how I did that trick, and even afterward when they were going to lunch, a few of them just kept on coming up to me like, how did you do that trick? I'm like, well, very carefully. And then a few seconds later another person came like, how did you do that trick? So it kind of brings me joy. I'm glad that they enjoy the tricks and everything, and I believe it keeps them engaged too, because when I have to give out warnings and such, they know that the trick is the incentive. So like after the first or second warning out of 3, it's like they were totally silent wanting to see the trick, and they're participating and answering questions, volunteering to read. And that's it. It was a good day, and yes, it did get a bit rambunctious at times, talkative, but there were times when I got the class very silent and engaged with the learning, the lesson, and we actually had a lockdown. It was very, very peculiar, an actual lockdown the first time as a teacher. There's an all call that said to close and lock all the doors, front doors, back doors, and I had just released them for their, they call it 3rd recess for 3rd grade and below. But it was so strange because that's what they told us. The office was locked, everything was locked, but people were playing outside. Teachers and other staff were outside as if nothing's happening. I actually don't know exactly what it is, or I mean like what happened, if there's activity in the neighborhood, but they weren't that worried about it. So when we all got back to class after the recess time, there's another all call, this was kind of after, and saying, okay, teachers, you could unlock your doors and such. What the heck was that, I wonder? Anyway, it's over and I'm just about to head out, and then I have class in less than 90 minutes from now. My master's program at Vanguard University. And kind of a bit humorous, there's one part where when they found out that I was a magician, well, I mean, quote unquote, and I say it's not real magic, but they're like, so you're a substitute teacher and a magician? I'm like, yeah. And then later when they found out I was a YouTuber, because people have been talking about it, then they're like, so you're a substitute teacher, a magician, and a YouTuber? I'm like, I guess. And then at the end of the day, when I juggled for them, it's like, so you're a magician, a substitute teacher, a YouTuber, and a juggler too? So I'm like, yeah, I guess. And another thing that happened this morning is when I was doing the roll call attendance, I actually pronounced a name correctly, to which she complimented. I'm like the only sub that pronounced her name correctly. I'm like, well, to me it seemed like an easy name, but there have been times all my substituting life where I actually acquired sympathy for my substitute teachers. Sorry if I butcher your name or anything like that. I mean, there are interesting names across the district and such, and I try my best to pronounce them correctly, but she was complimenting me on that. And later on, the same student told me that I'm like the nicest substitute teacher, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I really try to be. I strive to be one of the nicest. So it's February 8th, 2023, and I'm back over here at Adams Elementary subbing 6th grade next door to the 6th grade class room that I subbed last month in. So it's great to be back for the 2nd time, another 6th grade class. And as I said right before I dropped them off to PE just now, this is one of the greatest classes so far that I subbed for. Very quiet, very on task, very well behaved and everything. Very proud of them. I didn't have time to make a video beforehand outside because students happened to arrive very, very early and were waiting outside and everything. And then once I got in here, I had to read over the sub notes, annotate everything, put everything on the board and all that. So excited for the rest of the day. So fun so far. The entire class is amazing, really listening and engaging, following directions. They love the tricks, the rope trick, the card tricks, and the math shortcut tricks. They don't know how I did those, or well, a couple of them figured it out, they told me. But anyway, amazing. I just ran into students earlier today and just now, because it's recess time, asking when I'm going to sub for their class again behind me. So they said that I was a great sub, so I'm very appreciative of that. And that's it, another phenomenal day here at Adams Elementary School. Again, the students were like 96+% respectful, kind, silent when they needed to be silent, engaging with the lesson. So there's a lot of division problems today, and like base 10 charts, whatever, like new Common Core stuff that was very interesting, I put it that way. But yeah, just basically division and such. They really loved the magic tricks, quote unquote, the juggling at the end. One magic trick, a couple of them I think screamed or something, but they were like, how did I do that? But honestly, I really enjoyed today, and I did get to formally meet the principal. She actually came here during the ELA portion of the day for like a minute while everyone was taking turns reading, and I actually didn't know that she was the principal until at lunchtime I walked in and got to say hi and formally introduce myself. Just looked a little different than the last time I was here. But it was great to meet her again. I told her about Chaparral Elementary School yesterday. If you're curious of what I meant by that, please watch this video. But I got to juggle for like 425 students over in Capistrano Unified. And she said that she'll put me down for the leadership meeting like tomorrow to talk about of potentially having me volunteer and do an assembly here. So that would be very fun to juggle and talk about ability awareness and acceptance, disability awareness and acceptance and everything. I did, of course, get to use my juggling analogy about not giving up to these students right before class ended. And again, it was a wonderful time being here, enjoyed being here. A lot of students remembered me from when I subbed in the past. And all throughout today, from beginning to end, a lot of students were pointing me out, waving at me, referring to me as the tall guy. A couple of them recognized me from being on YouTube and such. And right as I was going into the office to return the key, one of the people in the office just looked at me and said, "Please come back. Just keep your eyes open and such. I hope that you come back." And I said, well, I hope so too, and I would hope to return to Adams and everywhere else that I've been to, as well as trying new schools too. I mean, I've subbed at like just over 20 schools out of like 32, 33 schools in the district. So I just like to branch out, and everywhere I go, it seems like I am known by the students, the admin now, as like a great sub, and that's what brings me joy, is because that's what I strive to be, because it's all about the students, and it's all about their future and perseverance, and being able to do my part in motivating them and helping them out, as well as entertaining them. And so it was another great day subbing. It's February 10th, 2023, and I'm back over here at Newport Harbor High School subbing an English class. Why an English class? Well, I'll tell you here shortly. So I'm over here in Big Hall inside the classroom, and it's great to be back in here again. I was a student here for 4 years, class of 2013. So the first period were 11th graders. They're reading The Great Gatsby, just like when I was in 11th grade. And also, The Beacon's now a magazine. When I was a student, it was a newspaper, and then they canceled it, and now it's a magazine, I guess. And then third period, which just happened, and fifth period, which is going to happen after lunch, are 9th graders, freshmen. So already tons of them remembered me from Ensign Intermediate School, and I already recognized the names for those who are coming in here for 5th period. So just like I told the first two classes, what I'm going to tell 5th period is, why the heck am I subbing an English class when I'm like a math and science guy? Well, it's because I'm actually subbing for a classmate of mine at Vanguard University. He's in the master's program like me over there, and so I see him like every Monday. In fact, when I was here last time, I mentioned this in my previous YouTube video, I actually came over here just to say hi. And later in class, I found out that he got like confused when he saw me. It's like, oh, is it class time already? No, it's not class time already. But at least I could say that I got a sub for a classmate of mine, a current classmate of mine. So that's why I'm here, and so far so good. The students are excellent, especially first period followed by third period, and now on to 5th period after lunch. So my incentives were magic tricks, especially the number one where they multiply three-digit numbers and such. First period told me that they didn't figure it out, but they were more like silent, like, you know, it's not like elementary school, I guess. And then last period actually figured it out. I mean, a few of them figured it out, started calling me out on that. I mean, in a nice way, of course. So it's like, okay, here's how you do the trick. So anyway, it was fun. 2/3 down, 1/3 to go. And that's a wrap. It's been a good day. It's good to walk these halls again. I mean, those murals behind me were there when I was a student here. So the last period, 5th period, was excellent. During nutrition and lunch, I walked around, got to say hi to a couple of my former teachers here, a couple of which I didn't get to see last time. And once again, at one point during lunch, a whole bunch of students, like 15, 20 of them, were surrounding me, asking if I still remember their birthdays. One of them I got to redeem myself because I was two days off last January 30th. But yeah, it was an excellent day today. I really had fun today. Oh, and also all 3 periods, one of the teachers who were here when I was here, but I didn't have him, came in and gave a plug to like the yearbook, journalism, photography, and such. So like an elective for like the yearbook and everything. So I thought it was interesting. I remember the yearbook and him quite well. I was actually interviewed when I was in 12th grade about my juggling and everything. I was actually supposed to be at Paularino Elementary today, 3rd grade, but a few hours later, yesterday, the teacher canceled. And at the same time, I was on March 1st, I was supposed to be subbing 5th grade at Paularino Elementary, and that one was canceled the same day, yesterday. So yesterday, 2 Paularino days of subbing were canceled, but for whatever reason. But anyway, I can't wait till Monday to see if this will be talked about during class, since again, this teacher is a classmate of mine. In the notes from the substitute teacher at the very end, after saying it was a pleasure to sub here, I said, well, if you're reading this on Monday, February 13th, I'll see you tonight in class at Vanguard. Sincerely, Matthew James Genslow, class of 2013. Excellent time subbing here for the 3rd time, and I can't wait to see what next week will bring.